So next up, we're going to talk about display. Display is a really important topic. This is IAB, online ad spend in Ireland, and we see that more than a third of online ad spend is going to display. So if people are spending such a massive chunk of their digital marketing budgets, they want to be sure they're getting great bang for their buck. Now, display is a subject, as a subject, is quite a hot potato at the minute. Those of you who are at the Web Summit will know that it was a topic of furious debate. There were a lot of questions being asked about the measurability metrics around display, the value of display, pricing models for display. And it was very interesting conversations there. 2 years ago, we published this blog post. And the quote actually isn't ours. It was Hugh Linnen of the Irish Times. But at the time, we agreed with the sentiment. At the time, our feeling was that 80% of display advertising was what we considered dumb display. So it was essentially press advertising lobbed online. And 20% of the market was probably smart display. So it was, real-time bidding, behavioral targeting, things like that. So in our view, display has moved on an awful lot since then. We think it's a really exciting area right now. There's a lot of innovation. There's a lot of really sophisticated formats, targeting, pricing models coming out. So in order for us to share with you guys what we think are the most important things for you to know in display, we've looked to the two behemoths of display. The two display advertisers on the planet who are streets ahead of everybody else in terms of both impressions and in terms of both revenue. And we're talking about Google in terms of the Google Display Network. So you might know that as AdSense, YouTube, they're all on there. And we're also talking about Facebook. Facebook advertising is right up there as well. And what's interesting about these two is not only are they the biggest, but they're just so far down the road, more evolved in the competition that it's unfunny. You'll have heard a lot of talk in the last year or two about real-time bidding, programmatic buying. Google's been doing real-time bidding and programmatic buying for 14 years now. 13 years. It was February 2002 that they started doing that. Facebook started in 2007. So these two guys are way down the road and streets ahead. So for us to get a sense of, the most sophisticated display available to us now and where things are going, it's logical that we look to them. So I'm delighted to welcome to the stage. First, we're going to have Sarah from Google, and she's going to talk to you about the most recent stuff with Google Display. Then we're going to have Sarah from Wolfgang, and she's going to talk to you about... oh my God, I hope she's still here. Oh, hi, Sarah. She's going to talk to you about the most recent from Facebook ads. So can you please put your hands together and welcome Sarah McGuinness from Google.
I thought I was going to avoid that, but maybe not. Hello, guys. It's great to see such a good turnout. I'm delighted to be on stage and even more so to be here with and talking on behalf of Wolfgang. I work quite closely with Wolfgang as I sit in the Irish agency team here in Dublin. So I was delighted, when Alan asked me to talk about display. So before I take you on to the next slide, don't be alarmed. You probably don't expect to see this slide in this room, but I'll explain. Even though it says here, search is only 5% of the time spent online, search is still the #1 driver for direct response and performance, and that's not going to change, okay? However, if we look here at the opportunity in terms of the time spent online, this is where you see where, I suppose, display has the biggest opportunity, okay? 95% of the time spent online is on everything else. 5% of the rest is search, and as I said, that's where you're going to go for your direct response and your performance. If we think about how we consume digital these days, it's growing rapidly. I think the stat that I have is that we're consuming 5 hours a day on digital, and that's actually growing, okay? If we look at how we consume digital, just think about it yourselves. We're going to different websites, we're reading blogs, we're looking at videos, and we're reading, I suppose, review and comparison sites all the time to get the information that we need and just to keep us better informed. In terms of this 95%, the GDN is where you're going to get that 95%. That's where you're going to tackle your audience that is surfing online for the 95%, and we're the biggest ad network, and we're the one that's going to give you the most access. If we think in terms of what we can do, what I want to show you today, I suppose, is how we can do that in terms of a targeting, how we're going to do that in creatives, and then I'm going to give you some updates in terms of, Sarah mentioned earlier about when you're working with display, you need to be thinking reach and awareness, okay? So this here is our targeting solutions, and we've got a targeting solution to, I suppose, match any advertising or marketing goal that you have. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. We start at the top. It's awareness, okay? This is where you want the most reach, okay? You want the most eyeballs. What we have here, demographics, pretty self-explanatory, and then we've got affinity audiences. How many of you guys would buy, or I suppose would target moms or teens on TV? Well, that's what our affinity audiences do. So we can, I suppose, use savvy parents as our targeting our mums and our dads on TV, okay? However, if I suppose your goals are a little bit more restricted and you don't want, you're a bit limited in terms of the reach and awareness that you want to traction, then we're going to look at consideration, okay? In particular, in-market audiences. This is where that we will actually allow you target the users that are actually browsing for the product, okay? Now, I'll give you a good example, and this is one that I came across lately. So if you're a jeweler, okay, and you, I suppose traditionally on the GDN you would think, you know, I'm going to get websites about how to make wedding cakes or the latest celebrity to get engaged. In-market audiences allow you to drill down into those users that are actually looking at ring comparison sites or reviews of the 4 C's of diamonds, okay? So it's a lot more targeted, and it's people that are in the market for browsing for your products. Then we've got similar audiences. It's pretty much what it says. What our system will do, it will look at the audiences coming and landing on your website, and then it will go and find similar users to that. Then the bottom of the funnel, it's all about driving the purchases and the sales and trying to influence that. It's nothing new, I suppose, to you guys in terms of what we have in remarketing. However, the latest launch for us is dynamic remarketing for all verticals. And how that works is, we know how it works for retail, but in terms of, I'll give you an example. I'm on a job site, and, well, purely hypothetical. I'm looking at applying for a full-time accountant role in Dublin. I leave the website and I leave without applying for the job. So what you can do with dynamic remarketing is then simply follow me as I go along the GDN with very tailored ads. So it'll be the ad, it'll be the job that I was looking at, maybe 1 or 2 jobs with like the location, perhaps a remuneration, and it will ask me to apply. Okay, so very straightforward. But again, as you see, these are all audience-based targeting types, and there's a solution for, I suppose, every stage of the funnel. What you get from these, you can target them with text ads, display ads, video ads, or lightbox ads. And I want to highlight the latter, lightbox ads. Lightbox ads are our newly revamped engagement ads. So they're pretty self-explanatory. I suppose our whole suite of engagement on lightbox ads really allow you to really engage with your consumers. I think the stat that I last read was that we're exposed to 5,000 advertising messages a day, okay? So brands really need to start engaging with their users instead of just talking to them. And what we have done with engagement ads, this is allowing you to do that. Okay, so they're pretty simple to use. I suppose you see the ads, you hover over it, and then you interact with it, whether it be through a video, an image, or a map, and I'm going to take you through those. Now, I know some of the Wolfgang guys have had great success. I've seen 4 to 5% click-through rates, and on display, that's pretty incredible. So I'm going to introduce to you 3 to 4 new formats today, and these are brand new, okay? So these are brand new to the GDN and on the Lightbox ad engagements. This one, as it says in the tin, you have 2 to 5 video assets. Again, if you have a lot of content and a lot of video, this is perfect for you to use, okay? Next, we have, if you don't really have that much video content, simply you can upload 1 video and multiple images. Perhaps if you're a retailer, you can use your catalog or campaign shots. Next, this is actually a pretty cool one, and it's in beta as well. So again, if you're a retailer and you've got stores, what it will allow you to do is it will allow you to upload your video, so your brand commercial, and then I suppose it will allow you to upload a feed of all of your maps, okay? So depending on where the user is, it will show you the most relevant store, and again, it will, I suppose, help you raise awareness for your stores. Again, if you don't have the assets of video, you can replace that with an image and just use the image and maps. Okay. Now, the next slide. So we know that we've got a really big ad network. We've got a lot of targeting options to use, and we're constantly updating our creatives. However, display has got a bad rap, and the bad rap, I suppose, comes from companies charging users and they haven't even seen the ad. Okay? That stat says it all. However, the next slide I'm happy to show you, because Google you can now buy impressions on the GDN through viewable CPM, okay, and that's going to replace the standard, the standard CPM model. We're the first ad network to do this, and we're very proud to be, I suppose, leading the industry innovation on this, okay? So Jen, what happens now is it's exactly what it says in the tin. You will only pay for those impressions that you see on screen, okay? And as I said, we're the first ad network to do that, and we're extremely proud that we're able to, I suppose, tell you guys that that's something new, and it's going to be replacing the standard, okay? So we've got a big ad network. We've got a lot of targeting options to suit any marketing goal. We're constantly updating our creative formats, and we're leading the quality assurance, okay? So for me, that's our little bits of the Google Display Network for 2015. Thanks, guys. We're going to go.
Okay, so it's a little bit difficult to get up on stage and talk about how great Facebook advertising is in Google. So I've enlisted the help of my friends, the A-team, to tell you how good Facebook advertising is. So I'm going to use Camino Ways as an example. So Camino Ways are a walking and cycling travel agency that specialise in trips to the Camino de Santiago in northern Spain. And I'm going to use the travel industry in particular because there's a very long journey to purchase, and journey to purchase can be very long and complex. Average length of purchase journey can be up to 24 days, and users can make an average of 21.6 site visits before making a purchase. So there's lots of really good smart marketing opportunities with Facebook advertising on that journey to purchase. And if you're wondering what the A-team have to do with Camino Ways, here they are promoting the Camino way back, and I swear this wasn't photoshopped. Okay. Oh, thanks very much, guys. If you didn't know who the A-team were, there they are. Okay, so if I was Hannibal, the man with the plan and the data, I would definitely use Facebook advertising in my display efforts, and here's why. Because 60% of Irish adults have a Facebook account, 72% of them look at Facebook every single day, and that number is actually growing. And Facebook owns lots of juicy data on all its users, much more than Google. And I'm going to talk about 3 new and improved features that Facebook released in 2014. So feature 1, targeting. So we all know that interest targeting on Facebook has always been one of their strengths. But recently, this has got even better because they own so much more data on everybody, which is kind of bad, but great for us, that we can target people more specifically and more granularly. So this means that our click-through rates are really, really increasing for interest targeting. Another option then we can go with is custom audiences. So a custom audience can be created on Facebook from an email list, for example, and I'll explain a little bit about that later. And following on from that, lookalike audiences. This is expanding if your custom audience is small, you can expand your reach with lookalike audiences. And then there's cross-device targeting, which I'll also explain later. So custom and lookalike audiences. So to get a custom audience, all you need to do is, if you have a newsletter that you send out regularly and you have an email database, all you need to do is pop your emails onto Facebook. Then they will create a custom audience and target specifically those users that you've just uploaded. So a lookalike audience then, just say you have a small list of emails, like 3,000 to 5,000. You can use Facebook then to create a lookalike audience built on similar characteristics of that small audience to really increase your reach. So your reach could go up to 100,000, and you know that they're all interested in your product. So let's talk about cross-device targeting. Because the journey to purchase is so big and so long for Facebook. If they're on the website, on the desktop, as they usually do start out when they're researching the travel, and then they go to mobile, so a few days later we can actually show them an ad in their newsfeed on their mobile for a page that they were looking at on the desktop. So say they go back then to the website on the desktop and they get a quote, for example. We can then show them an ad that has a little bit more urgency, and we can give them a nice incentive there to return back to the desktop and make their travel purchase. So I'm going to talk about formats, so newsfeed ads. I use ads very lightly because the ad here on the right does not really look like an ad. It looks like really valuable content. And one of the ways you can tell this is because it's been shared over 121 times. So this is content that people have shared with each other on Facebook. But let's look at the stats. So for a spend of €100, this ad reached over 45,000 unique Facebook users. It got over 2,000 website clicks. It had a really low cost per click of 5 cents, and it had 121 shares. And more importantly, it got 5 website leads. So you can see there's a lot of bang for your buck there with Facebook. So great formats equal great results. Newsfeed ads, they don't look like ads. They're native advertising. And really low cost per clicks mean you get a huge volume of traffic. So like Murdoch, you'd be crazy not to go for it. So the next feature then is advocacy, so putting the face in Facebook. It allows your audience to share your marketing in a way that other display ads can't. And it means also recommendations from user to user. So let me just explain that one. So when we talk about recommendations, we talk about shares, like we just saw. Now, this doesn't look like an ad either, and you can see it's got 54 shares. So we know that users are really interested in this content, so much so that they're sharing it with their friends. Another way they can do that is by tagging. In Facebook ads, you can tag your friends. So you can see here, Elaine Hanrahan, you might like this. So it's a great way of letting your friends know about your product and your company. So then recommendations, really strong here. You can see here people have recommended doing the Camino to their friends. You know, did it last year, loved it, want to go back again this year. You really can't buy this, but maybe you can if you give Facebook your advertising dollars. So just quickly recap then. Facebook has loads of data, as we all well know. It knows you more intimately than any other platform. It knows your wishes and desires. Low cost per clicks, very high volumes of traffic. Better targeting options like lookalike audiences and custom audiences. Cross-device targeting because it's people-based rather than cookie-based, like Google. Creates advocacy, so recommendations from user to user. Plus, there's loads of exciting innovations coming up in 2015 with Facebook advertising. Thank you.
Thanks a million to the two Sarahs. Great stuff there. And it's funny that because what you just witnessed there, like we have little tit for tats all the time in the office. Like when the content team starts getting a better result for a client than the AdWords team, there's, you know, they're very loud about it. So these kind of conversations are you know, very frequent in the Wolfgang office. You got a little insight into that there, perhaps.